John, do you remember when I was telling you about the Polish-Hungary bromance?
Yes.
Well, it turns out there's one bromance that went seriously sour during World War II, and that was between Poland and... Welcome to
What's Up Poland?
the daily video show
Where
we talk about
news,
views,
culture,
history,
life.
everything Poland.
Japan.
Japan, indeed, is the answer. Thank you. We just went after the intro there. Poland and Japan were two countries that actually got on rather well during the 19th and 20th centuries until a certain alliance got in the way. So, in fact, this is the story of the remarkable battle and war that went on between Poland and Japan. It was started in 1941. Guys, guess when it ended? Can you guess when it ended? You won't get it right. You won't get it right. You got it wrong already.
6 years, so what, 1947?
16 years it went on
Oh,
for,
16
guys.
years.
Yes, hostilities between Poland and Japan did not cease because they
After the
cessate,
war.
don't they? They cessate. So if I was to say this, cease, would that be the right way? Who knows?
No, just
Answers on the
cease,
postcard.
I think.
Cease. They did not cease. Their cessation of the conflict came a full 16 years after. But I have to tell you guys, Japan did not take Poland's declaration of war particularly seriously because it was rejected by Japan's prime minister. So they didn't come to battle, but the state of conflict between them carried on until 1957, making it one of the oddest and longest running battles and wars.
Yeah, how does that work? You know,
Right.
do tell us.
I will, John, if you didn't interrupt or constantly trail your own podcast about Poland. I bet this is a story you didn't cover on that. Well, you should have done because this is remarkably good. If this was an ice cream brand, ice cream, if you say it in Japan. How do you say it, John? Just remind me.
Isukurimu.
That is how you say it, Japanese. Then this would be the most delectable story on the branch because this is the story of the remarkable Polish-Japanese geopolitical bromance, which started in the 19th century. Apparently, I didn't realize this, there was a Major Yasumas Fukushima who in the late 19th century traveled throughout Poland on horseback. He reported on his impressions of the Poles with particular enthusiasm and was impressed by the royal castle and the tragedy of the partitions and the uprisings. So something about Poland's remarkable indomitable spirit and its quench for national independence struck a chord with Major Yasumas Fukushima because based on his reports, the song Memory of Poland was written, which at the beginning of the 20th century was a huge hit in Japan and aroused sympathy for the Poles. Now, some of you may remember that Roman Dmowski and indeed Józef Piłsudski were also in Japan. So Poland and Japan had a bit of a bromance going on. There was quite a lot going on between the countries. Now, here's where the story and the plot tends to get rather murky and just a little bit thicker because even though the two countries had no cessation of hostilities, the hostilities were carrying on. And indeed, they were on opposing sides during the Second World War. Amazingly, during the battle that they were both fighting with each other, cooperation, to quote the article, continued to flourish and was even extended. Pick the bones out of that ice cream because a Polish espionage network was created at the Japanese embassy in Berlin. Polish agents and diplomats traveled on passports provided by the Japanese. And in Tokyo, the Polish embassy functioned normally. So it sounds like neither side was taking this particular war
Seriously.
Poles continued flouting the rules by traveling around with Japanese diplomatic passports. How on earth they got away with that? But just another example of Polish bravura during the Second World War. So this is the story of it, the cooperation, and you can find out more. I bet neither of you two knew about this story at all, did you?
Definitely
Absolutely
did not know.
I mean, I know that Poland and Japan recently celebrated 100 years of diplomatic relations. So this kind of like 16-year glitch where there kind of happened to be a war kind of,
They were on a break.
They were on a break, exactly. It's like, yeah, we're kind of fighting each other, yeah, but whatevs,
Guys, you've taken this remarkable story to a beautiful ending. So if you are not at all or just not even a little bit aroused by the story, then do nothing. But if on the other hand this has caught your attention, then you know what you need to do, which is to check out more odd, exciting, inspiring stories about Poland's turbulent past and unusual finds buried in the undergrowth, buried in the records, and even between these two patients. If you happen to be from Japan and you love Poland, of course, you can comment below this story. Please do that. Please share it on. And John, if you could just say ice cream one more time in Japanese.
Isukurimu. But the word for Poland in Japanese is porando.
Porando.
Yeah.
Sounds exotic.
Well, there are no L's, so like you have to go.
Porando.
Yeah. Porando.
So how do you say, please may I have some Polish ice cream?
Oh, I can't remember. My Japanese doesn't extend to that kind of level anymore, unfortunately. I wish it did though.
Man, we need to get someone from Japan on. That's awesome. So, guys, if you can let us know,
we do need to get someone on Japan on. That would be awesome.
that would be awesome. So, shouts out to our Japanese friends from Porando. And I think since the weather's going to be getting better, then it's probably time for some. John, just say it one last time. Isukrimu.
Isukurimu.
I do like that. So, see you again for another episode of What's Up Poland?